decades, humanity has reported encounters with the unknown. Lights in the sky, craft beyond our understanding, and programs hidden in the shadows. Now, the truth may finally be emerging. This is the Uncovering Anomalies podcast.
Nice. All right. That worked out. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. This is episode 175. Today is August 16th, 2025. I am your host. I have a need to know Adam. And we got Sid from the Bitcoin Live crew with us today.
Hey,
What's up,
how are you guys? I'm back.
Yes, you are back. It's been a while. Nick was supposed to be also on the show, and Topher was also supposed to be on the show. So safe travels to Topher, and good luck to Nick, what he had to take care of today. You guys will be missed for sure. What's up, Sid?
It's just busy with the news. Every day is a new news. So
good to see you, man. Yeah. I know it's so crazy out there. It's just everything is happening at the same time, which proves there's a reset happening when there's so much chaos in everything we look at. It's just right. It means that they have a new. We're going into something very, very new, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but
it will take a few years, I think.
Yeah.
Because they can't change everything in one day. Even if they try to do it in one day, it will take few years.
Yeah, and Nick shared something in our group chat about how there's a war on the petrodollar. Of course there is, right? I mean, with the enemies of the United States know that is a very strong anchor for the empire. But it's nuts to see that someone like Trump is almost helping them, accomplish their goals, because he's killing the petrodollar as well.
He is killing petrodollar, and for who? That's the question.
Right? For who? Yeah. And could it be because? And we've talked about this also. Every time you guys are on, we talk about what are they doing? What is this new system? Yes, crypto is part of it, and but it's probably a new energy system that's probably coming from this UAP infrastructure that they have. Could be something like that, but who knows? But yeah, I agree with you. I think probably 2030, which is the date that they love to talk about at the UN and in these
New World Order 2030. Very possible at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And off air, we were talking about what's going on in the Middle East and how they're changing curricular. But we'll get into that stuff as we go into these clips. There's a lot that happened this week, which is the case always now. It's very hard to keep up. Because especially with this subject, I feel like, it's converging, especially when you talk about consciousness and then the technology, it's all converging into many different aspects.
Yeah, including all the celestial events happening recently.
Yeah, the solar eclipse, the earthquakes going on, it's just...
And there's a recent meteor shower, which was very weird because I've never seen a meteor shower like that.
Oh, was that? I think I saw something like that. Maybe we'll get into it if you can send me the clip. I remember seeing something about that. It broke up or something, right? In the atmosphere.
Yeah, it looks like multiple meteors. It's like Starlink breaking up. It's something like that. But then there's like a few videos of Starlink going on as a fake videos to discredit the actual news.
Course.
But then there is like a real meteor event also happened.
Yeah, so it's like all the signs, and I don't know if it's fake or it's really happening. But if someone follows any eschatology, you see these signs are in the end times, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So scary stuff. All right, so here is a clip from the UAP caucus, and these are whistleblowers that are pushing Donald Trump to basically have them removed from their NDAs, so they can tell us the secrets.
This is a cover-up. You all know it. We know it. We demand the answers. This is our government. This is our country. This is our information. And damn it, we demand it.
My name is Eric Burlison.
My name is David Grusch.
Jeffrey Nusatelli.
Matthew Brown.
My name is Dylan Borland, a former geospatial intelligence analyst for the United States Air Force.
I'm a Republican congressman from Missouri.
I'm a former career Air Force intelligence officer and former senior intelligence official who served at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
I served as a national security contractor supporting the Department of War and the Department of State.
I'm a former United States Air Force Security Forces member
and a member of the task force on the declassification of federal secrets.
I've already
already provided classified testimony and evidence to the Intelligence Community Inspector General and Congress
regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena, technologies of unknown origin, and non-human intelligence.
We continue to receive credible claims of recovered craft of non-human origin and reverse engineering programs.
This included photographs and videos of these operations to include the craft and the non-human occupants.
I can tell you with certainty that I provide evidence of current operations.
And I've seen this evidence with my own eyes, and I've had these discussions with our nation's most senior leaders in a classified environment.
The American people in Congress have not heard the whole truth because secrecy agreements and active threats prevent me from speaking freely.
But these whistleblowers are being terrorized.
I personally know current and former government employees who possess critical first-hand information but remain silent because they fear losing their careers,
their pensions,
or facing serious legal jeopardy.
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
we need you to use your authority because the American people are behind you on this, and the time is now. Provide immunity for anyone and everyone who has already come forward, and for those who will come forward.
Mr. President, give us the authorization, and we're ready to go.
Damn, it's your move, Mr. President. You know,
Yeah, but he's like the biggest agent of Antichrist out there. I'm surprised people don't realize this now. It should be very clear by now that he is the problem.
Yeah. And you know, the Antichrist also comes with these signs, right, of peace and transparency, and right, and it's like it's a script, dude. Like they're following the script. Like he's also, because he brought in the Abraham Accords, right, which is also peace in the region. He was the peace president when he's not, obviously.
He's opposite of it.
opposite. Yeah.
He's worse than George W. Bush. I'm like, that's telling.
Yes, he is.
Going back to this clip, oh my god, this is amazing. I hope they succeed, and if president doesn't allow them, they should come out anyway and just
go to jail. Yeah, see, why don't they go to jail or go to Russia or something like that if they really care, like what Snowden did? Who was asked that question? Someone was asked that question, and they're like, well, you know, the intelligence community has learned from Snowden, they said, and that, you know, you can't get away with this stuff anymore, something like that, and that you'll definitely go to jail or get executed. So that's what he said. I forget who it was. It might have been Borland, I think, on an interview.
This is true, but the problem, Snowden was one person, and then his thing was totally different. People were not comfortable with that kind of secret. But UAP secret, I think everyone on earth will stand behind these guys.
You're so right. They'll say like these people are heroes. So why aren't they doing it? That's such a good point. So you know that always brings me back. I'm always on the fence, but a little off the fence, like, you know, for the reality of crash retrievals. But I get pulled back so much, Sid, when I'm like, why aren't these guys saying something? But why would Grusch lie? Like, he's the one that's holding me, right? Like, he's the anchor here for me, at least.
For
his
me
credibility. Too. Yeah, his credibility, the way he comes off, his honesty. So maybe the people he interviewed lied to him or something. You know, that could be.
No, but he's saying that he has seen those videos himself.
Yes, he does. That's true.
And so it's not just like the people who lied to him. He's claiming that. All he had to do is to point these things out, to come out in the public. I hope he has some access to those videos. If not, still he can tell them, like, the government, where to look for those videos.
This was such a good
government
interview.
also government is already releasing those videos of like the UAP disclosure. So why not just add few more?
Exactly, some 4K ones, you know, in 4K. So yeah, here he's discussing, which is an excellent interview with Dr. Phil. So he talks about the video and photo evidence here that he has seen with his own eyes.
So in terms of what my exposure was, I had folks from the retrieval program. I'll call it exfiltrate audiovisual evidence for me to see both video and photos, and that was audiovisual evidence of the retrieved craft. Some of the dead cadavers that were recovered, call it the pilots, as I said in my interview with Nancy Mace. It's very hard to deduce origin because it's not like we know exactly what point in space or time these things came from. But, different types of pilots, if you will, different types of crafts. So in terms of what my, exposure was, I had
different types of pilots, different types of crafts. There's some great clips.
This interview is amazing. I've seen it. Like, I've seen the full video.
Nice, man. I watched it 3 times. Seriously,
this one is amazing. But I am surprised. No, I'm not surprised. I'm very suspicious of Dr. Phil. Somehow he just come here and take over the whole UFO world where he was not involved before. This looks like maybe somebody planted him to do it.
Oh yes, now there I agree, but I think he's a positive force, right? Definitely, the administration or Stephen Miller from the administration reached out to Dr. Phil, one to convince Middle America, right, of the reality of this, because they need that support, right? Okay, yeah, New York, California, okay, yeah, we all have, you know, and believe in aliens, but Middle of America still is, you know, probably not. So I think that was very smart for them to bring Dr. Phil, and he's been good, right? He's upset that the secrecy is there. He's upset that they've been lying to us. He's upset that they're blocking Trump or the Trump administration access. So far it's been okay. I don't like that he's a big fan of you know who, right? And
this is the problem, because right now we are thinking that because there are keywords. What you are saying, they are the keywords. So when they're gonna brainwash people, they're gonna use the same keywords. So we will start trusting them, and then they're gonna slip in their misinformation to discredit everything. That's why I'm suspicious of him. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, and he is actually doing it for the right reason, and he's good for the cause. I'm very suspicious of him. I think he will be eventually negative in the future.
All right,
that's my analysis.
You would probably you would probably end up being right. You know, seriously, I've been screwed over many times because I'm always hopeful. You know, to a fault. You know, I'm not Q level. I'm not Q level hopeful. That's for sure. Like that's just another. Like I can never get there. I'm like, no, man.
That's just insane. That was insane. Yeah,
it was. But when something is too good to be true, it's just too good to be true. So I don't think. Maybe Dr. Phil is like on the edge of that. So yes, we should be wary of him. He's got a huge platform, and they've used the deep states has used him before. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's the thing. And same with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He initially came out like pro UFO, and then started just poking hole. I'm not comfortable with any of these guys. I would rather have like those who have spent time in this field, like
like where are those? Elevate those people. But I think maybe because the general population will see them as weirdos, right? Like who do we love that's been researching this so much, right? You got like Richard Dolan, Dr. Farrell, Linda Moulton Howe, you know, people like that. The masses would be like, I don't know, man. They're like, okay, maybe not Richard. Richard's very level-headed.
No, but then Stephen Greer is a good name.
Stephen Greer, that's right. But then he could even be nuts, right? I mean, for the general population, even though he's been right about everything, consciousness and reaching out, and the secrecy and what we have and our capabilities, and so I mean that is a good point. So I don't know. Everyone now, when something's this big, everyone wants to have a piece of the pie, right? Everyone wants to get the narrative, try to benefit from it. So I don't blame every factions from trying to benefit from it. But we just have to be careful of it and keep an open mind, and just know that it's a minefield now, complete minefield. All right, so here's Grusch again. He's talking about here, I think, the crash retrievals that he sees evidence for.
Are we talking multiple craft?
Yeah.
Are we talking 5, 6, 25, 50? What are we talking about?
Under 100, but more than 25 is what I could say. And the exact numbers actually are a little nebulous, because starting in the early 2000s, when a lot of money was siphoned for the global war on terror, the big defense contractors started doing their own retrievals, sort of off books, you know, under the cognizance of certain government agencies. So there's a lot in, I'll call it, you know, private possession in defense contractor space that I think the government doesn't have a full accounting on. So it's really hard to get exact numbers. But certainly we've recovered several dozen vehicles over the last, 8-9 decades or so.
All right. And is there a homogeneity among these that suggests that they're all coming from the same place? Are they similar, different?
There's a lot of, there's a lot of vehicle types. You have the disc, you have the sunfish boot heel looking thing, you have boomerangs, you have crescent moon looking craft, you have tic tacs, you have egg looking craft as well. Certainly, it's very hard to deduce origin because it's not like we know exactly what point in space or time these things came from. But different types of pilots, if you will, different types of crafts.
Yeah, we heard that. So
Mhm.
yeah, he's saying the defense contractors were doing it off the books, doing these crash retrievals. I mean, could you imagine being part of that team? You
Yeah.
know, of just, and it's nuts that they don't retaliate. Like, why don't they retaliate? Is it because they're robots? Is it because there's a lower caste slave class, for whoever the real NHIs are? Because
Or
it doesn't
there,
seem like the Greys are creating the craft,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Also, there is a possibility that they want them to find those crafts for some reason.
Yes. Yes, he
That's why
does
they are
mention
not
that as
retaliating.
well.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Um,
like the most logical like explanation. Otherwise, if I am doing a covert operation and my ship is going down, I will do whatever it takes. If I have to even kill all those aliens, I will
yeah.
do. I mean,
Now,
if
now
I
if
am
it's
the alien from the other country and I have to kill those humans to
I mean, if
protect
it's an
my ship.
AI, like to just say we postulate it's an AI intelligence, whatever, super AI intelligence that's doing this. If it wants us to communicate with it, it would seed technology. So we go on that same path to be able to communicate with it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that's
yeah.
that'd be the only reason you gift. Why else would you gift? Like you want something to catch up with you so you can communicate with it.
No, there is also a possibility, which is like I've discussed this with Nick, but they
Mhm.
want to give us this technology so we will build robots because
Yeah.
demons
Mhm.
cannot survive in this world. They need a body.
They need a body, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so humans are very good at exercising them. So if they want to come, what if the robots they're building they will be possessed by the demons and they will
We
be
don't
the
know.
living vessels? Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's why they are giving these technologies. So we use that to build our own robots, and then it will be a vessel for those demons.
Dude, yeah, that makes sense because I mean I know Tesla at least they have their robots all connected to one AI right in the cloud. But Nvidia is making LLM chips like that you can put in each robot. He's what's his name? The CEO of Nvidia. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I forget his name now.
Hong something, right?
Yeah. So he did a presentation where he had a small chip, right? It was an AI chip, an LLM chip. He says the entire internet every second, he was saying trillions of bits can be done with it. And he goes, you can put this right there on a robot. So imagine having that much like that would be an amazing, I
Yeah,
guess, vessel for a demon that you're talking about because it can utilize all that and
yeah,
have its intelligence can actually be implemented. That's
yeah.
scary, dude. That is scary. Well, okay. Here's a question for you, since you read up on all this, and how come there's no robots in eschatology, or you think like is there something similar to it as
Yes.
these?
So
Like, is there anything about the Antichrist or Dajjal, for example, that has
yeah,
something like
so
that?
yes, there is no mention of like a robot, but then there is some mentions of like as a time of Noah, the world will
Yeah,
be like that. So in the time of Noah, they were doing genetic modification in the humans. That's why God wiped them out.
that's true.
There, there is one thing in eschatology which is like Gog and Magog, which are not
Mhm.
humans. They are like kind of human, but they are not. They are humanoids, but they are not actually humans.
Oh, maybe that's what it means in the
And that's
Islamic sense.
why I really respect Imran Hussain, but I
Me
disagree
too.
with him that they are those
He said he
Russians.
said yeah, he said it's those who are in charge of the West. So
Yeah,
Gog, he says
I
Gog
disagree with.
is the British Empire, and then
Yeah,
Magog is
because
the
in
U.S. Empire.
eschatology, it is written that they are locked, but somehow when Antichrist comes,
Mhm.
he will unlock them.
Unleash them.
No, unlock them, not unleash them,
Oh,
because
unlock them, huh?
yeah, because they are locked somewhere, and something he will do which will open the gates for them to come to this earth, and they will come from the sky, and they
Mm.
will drink all. They will like wipe out the water because it is said
Water.
like
There's
that.
the data centers. Wait a minute. The water. There's the data centers. Okay, so it
Yeah,
is. So maybe someone should tell Sheikh Omran
yeah,
something about that because that is. Now we just linked it, you and I, right there. Drinking up
yeah,
all the water was a big thing about Gog and Magog, and
yes,
that's the data centers, dude.
exactly. And in
Holy
Quran,
shit.
there is one interesting story. So when the whole story of Quran, when there is this guy Zulkarnain who
Hmm.
went to some place where the people used to go inside the water during the daytime because of the heat.
Yeah.
And Gog and Magog used to come and attack them. So he built a barrier between the Gog and Magog, and
Right,
he
it was
locked them. Yeah,
it was like
but
made out of
again,
glass.
water is involved. Those people, I think, those were AI as well. I think because they were going in the water because of the heat, which is very weird.
So weird. Yeah,
And
they
then
said
they
they
come.
spoke a language that no one understood.
No
That they
one
were just
understood. Yeah,
yeah, and that they were
and
degenerates basically.
exactly. And this is the story in Quran, so it's not like fake story, because in Quran
Yeah,
it's like absolute truth according to
yeah,
Islam.
right.
So there are no humans on earth who used to go inside the water during the daytime to avoid the heat. They have like
Huh.
better things to do. Yeah, that's
Right.
why I don't believe the Gog and Magog are the Westerns.
It's a good it's a good theory though. You have to admit. But now I'm off of it.
No, it's a good theory, but
because he connects it to that Gog and Magog would bring them back to the Holy Land, right? Doesn't he say that? Something like that. That there's some
I think he's
passage
mistaken on that. Yeah, I
uh,
think the story of Gog and Magog, they will come after
after.
Antichrist.
So really at
After
the end.
Jesus defeat Antichrist. This is
Wait. After the defeat of they come in?
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So
what,
so the terror is not over. We have
no,
to
no,
deal
no.
with
So
them.
this is a lot of people miss that point, because Antichrist come. The sequence is like that. Antichrist will arrive. He will take over the world and unlock the way for them to come back. But before they arrive, Jesus will come and kill Antichrist and take over the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
And then they come, those Gog and Magog, and then they will attack, where Jesus will take his people and go to some mountain to protect them. And then God will send some birds. I think the birds or some
Birds,
creatures.
UFOs.
Yeah, who will grab them, and then they will kill them, the Gog and Magog.
Oh my God. It's
So
the
that's the
theater.
way. So yeah, you can say Gog and Magog could be AI, or they
Interesting.
are going to destroy AI. I can't make.
I'm
things
gonna
up.
look for more clues about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I like it. Yeah.
But I'm just giving you a rough idea.
And also, no, you could still tie it back to what Imran Hussein is saying, because it's the West it's that Western empire capital system that brought on AI in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't, the end result of the capitalist system we live in is AI. There's no other way to go, right? Everything's automated, and you just have all this energy going through, which is currency, and it just fuels it, and it just and then it multiplies. Not multiplies. Yeah, it just continues to just exponentially grow. It's the only logical conclusion to capitalism, really.
Also, what I gave you is just like a very short summary of like the long events. So maybe one day we will, we had a plan to do something regarding
Yeah,
that,
yes.
but then I have to gather all the information to sequence everything so people can understand, and maybe we will understand more, because one thing is to read and one thing
we
is
can
to
do
from there.
and we can do a good documentary with the visuals too. Like we can use AI for that. For those prompts. We should definitely do it.
Yeah, we should do it. No, I think we should, because like this is very important. Nobody's talking about that. I think the world needs to know, and these things are important, and they are connected. And it looks like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yes. Like it just the signs are always showing that it's pointing to something that's going to happen, which is so scary. All right, so this is another clip from the interview with Dr. Phil. I think this one is about the live pilots that were captured.
Well, let's see.
Have any of these pilots or occupants of these craft, to your knowledge, been taken alive?
Yes, and I know people who have had direct interactions in a detainment situation, which sounds very Star Trek and sounds very crazy, but it is true. And I talked to a former cabinet member about that, who directly worked the issue for a particular former vice president. You can guess which one.
Darth Vader. So he's saying that they captured live aliens, and that Dick Cheney spoke to the alien in the capture. That was the captured alien. Like, dude, what the fuck, man?
There is like a video out there as well where people are interviewing this guy, this alien, gray alien, right?
Oh, that's why. Yeah. This is Skinny Bob.
Yeah, Skinny Bob. So yeah, it's not just like a random thing he's saying. There is like an evidence for that.
Yes, and it's been out there for a very long time.
Yeah,
Danny
before
Sheehan,
before AI.
Yep. Yeah, way before AI, exactly. And then there's that one interview which was the Defense Intelligence Agency. It was a DIA clip
Mhm.
that has not really been debunked. You know, it's a good one,
Yeah.
but but I have a problem with it's Cheney, right? Now, Cheney, we know he's evil, but did you ever see him being interviewed by Sacha Baron Cohen? I think he was acting like Borat or something, or no, he was
I
acting like an Israeli IDF guy. Did you
oh
see that one?
I think I've seen that a long time ago. I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
anything, but I know the interview you're talking about.
So he was such an idiot in that video. Cheney, I mean, he was so tricked by Sacha Baron Cohen, right? And he was so like he was just like so I can't like even describe it, but he was so like in love with him just because he was an IDF soldier. It was crazy to watch. But yeah, so that's the guy speaking to NHI. That's the guy representing America and humanity to
Yeah.
the aliens is Dick Cheney. Very evil
Yeah.
man.
But this is just one of those interviews. We don't know how
That's
many
true.
other people have spoken. I think in the end, when you want to have someone from the government to represent, I think they brought, unfortunately, this this Darth
Yeah.
Vader. But other
Yeah.
than that, I think there have been so many other communication with, I hope, with rational people.
Yes, definitely in the past. Now Grusch,
Yeah.
look at that smile. He called him Darth Vader. Okay, let's continue.
And were they able to communicate?
Yes, yes, and it is true that some sort of consciousness communication. Of course, people call it telepathy. I cannot begin to tell you how it works, but there is some sort of communication like that, and even friends of mine that were on retrievals felt that kind of communication as they approached the vehicle when they were doing cordoning it off, waiting for transport. How that works, what that means, I certainly don't know. I'm as curious as the average viewer on your show on how that works. And it does feel very Star Trek to me. I have no personal experience with anything like that that's outside of my normal, human experience. But that is indeed, what people have experienced in the government with these things.
Amazing. You're an experiencer. Have you ever experienced telepathy or some kind of mind?
One time, it's not like a clear thing, but it's more like a hunch I received okay, so I think after 2024, when there was like in a New Jersey drone thing going on, I started going out in the mountains. This is where I start seeing stuff.
Cool.
So
By yourself?
in the sky, lights in the sky, I start seeing. Yeah. So in the very beginning, 1 or 2 time I went there, I didn't see anything. And the third time when I was out, I didn't see anything. I was almost at the home, and something I heard, not heard, something I just got a feeling, just
Yeah.
turn around. So I was
Yeah.
walking very fast back to home, and then I just abruptly turn around and start walking on the other side. And this is where I saw one of the lights first time.
Damn.
So I don't know if it was
So it's
just a
watching you.
hunch. It was just a hunch or whatever, but I just get an extreme feeling that turn around. And then I just turn around.
Yeah,
And
so that
then-
means for sure is watching you then, because you know how everyone has that feeling when someone watches you and you just
Yeah.
turn around and there's someone staring at you, right?
Yeah.
So it might have been that, and then was it? Did it seem like did it move at all when you?
Oh
looked
yeah,
at it,
yeah,
or-
yeah. That's so they always have like a specific movement. They appear out of nowhere. They travel for 30 seconds to 1 minute and then disappear. This
Huh.
is their and it's not like very close to me. It's like up in the sky. So I don't know how much they have traveled. It
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
but like I think they cover a big distance in 30 seconds and then they just disappear. And I have like videos of that. I've shown it multiple times.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you have. Yeah.
but they are
very-
always like that up in the sky. But yeah, I just receive one message, or sometimes when I am not about to see anything, I get a feeling today I'm not gonna see anything. But sometimes when I'm about to see something, I get a feeling, yeah, it's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
gonna
it's
happen.
very similar,
Yeah.
especially when something's in the sky for some reason. So they might be emitting some, who knows, some kind of frequency or that some people can attune to, right? That
Yeah.
something's there to look.
Yeah, but they are not clear message. It's more like a feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if these crafts are using consciousness as propulsion or something like that, something similar, maybe that's
Yeah.
why that they're.
Yeah.
So I queued this up. Honestly, I forgot why. But yeah,
Right.
Let's see.
And you have also seen pictures or video.
Oh, never mind. We already played those clips. Anyway, he's been through a lot, David Grusch, and I do actually want to play where he asks him, he's like, how are you doing, after all this? And it's really messed up with what they've done to him and the people that helped him. So people within these agencies that he interviewed that told him the stuff, everyone got in trouble. Everyone. It wasn't just him.
Yeah.
So it's messed up. It is here. I think it's here.
That both had the documentation and the material holdings and the cadavers, mind you. But once again, I'm out of the biz. I don't have a mole at that facility anymore that can tell me on August 11th, 2026, it's still there, unfortunately. And that.
Yeah, see, in this clip, he's saying, he doesn't have a mole anymore, like in a defense contractor or something like that, to tell him that the craft is there. And this, he was saying, can we go see? Because Dr. Phil wants to take the cameras and go to these bases. And Grusch is like, he's like, there are, but he did say that they're probably going to move and destroy evidence, but that there are bases that have such huge craft that he's like, they can't move it. He's like, we'll go to those.
But they are not even in the United States. That the big one, that's not in the US. That's somewhere in South America, right? Mexico or Brazil. Not in Brazil. I think it's in Mexico somewhere.
And South Korea, right? Wasn't there one in South Korea as well?
Yeah, but the big one which they cannot move, I think that is in it's somewhere in South America.
Oh man, I mean, when this empire collapses, if it does, all these, they're gonna have to move all these things.
I think they can't move it. Then they will just come out because nobody is there to put check and balance, right? So they will say, okay, here are the UFOs.
Well, we need to compile a list of all these things. So, like, when this whole thing collapses, we'll go find these craft.
That's actually a good idea. I never thought of that, but I think we start documenting those locations and just keep an eye on those things. That's actually a good project. Yeah.
And we still have, of course, the one in Utah we're gonna do.
Yeah, because what was happening, we were going with our memory all the time, and we never thought we will get old and we will start losing. But now with time, I think my memory is getting weaker and weaker. So I think it's better to document everything.
Absolutely. Okay, so maybe this is the clip here where he talks about the reprisals against him.
Side of congressional oversight. So if you're using non-appropriated dollars and you're using a corporation whose net profits are being used to reverse engineer it, and most famously, there was a DIA program in the early 2000s called OSAP, and they were actually trying to get Lockheed Martin to transfer material to them outside the program for study, kind of outside the onion, so to speak. But CIA leadership denied that. And I have that on very good authority that happened. And you do make a good point about proving me wrong. It's funny. I challenged DoD Aero's office last year in a meeting. I was in a classified meeting with Representative Burlison. And I offered to them, okay, well, I will cross-examine witnesses for you. I named several current and former government officials that ran these programs on behalf of the government and provided them several leads. And I was like, invite me back. I'll cross-examine and extract this information from these individuals. Based on my career in the IC doing certain things, I have an unusual talent for interrogations and interviews.
Nice.
And once again, it's been 15 months. And Aero ghosted me and never contacted me again.
So it's so cool. So he says he has an extraordinary or unusual talent for extracting information. So he offered that he would cross-examine these people, extract the information for them. Aero ignored it. Like, why isn't the administration using this guy more?
Yeah,
right?
Because Lou Elizondo, I guess.
Yes, yes, it is Lou, who famously threatened UAP Gerb.
Yeah.
For even for daring to question Elizondo's intentions, even though he's himself said he's counter intel.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was a part of Aero too, right, Lou?
Yeah. He was.
Again, my memory is weak, but he was a part of one.
I know for OSAP he was, and UAP TF.
But, if he was an OSAP, there is a possibility that he was at least giving them some consultation.
For sure. Yeah. They brought him in for counterintelligence. That's his job.
Yeah. So even if he is not like officially part, but they always have back channels, which we
And of
cannot
course,
prove. Yeah.
And of course, if there's going to be a UFO czar, they're going to put Elizondo.
Yeah.
Right?
Or Dr. Phil at this
Or
point.
Dr.
we have
Phil.
no idea.
I mean, we have Avi Loeb as head of the White House
Oh
science
my God, yeah.
board, right? A Unit 8200 graduate. We have Dr. Phil, right, who's a very good friend of BB, and then we have Lou Elizondo, who has admittedly said that he's tortured alleged 9/11 terrorists, right?
Yeah.
He said that he used psychic or remote viewing to torture. But he's a patriot, as he says.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Exactly.
it's always this. It's no matter what. What I'm trying to say is, no matter what, you have to have a certain ideology, and then they'll put you in these positions, right? Even when it comes to UFOs. Even when it comes to UFOs.
Yeah. And I think I recently skimmed through one headline where it says that Lou Elizondo was behind. The scandal came out of David Grusch that he was a drunk and all those things.
Oh yes, yeah, he had PTSD. Exactly.
Yeah, PTSD. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because there's so much going on. So I just read the news that he was the person who leaked the information.
Oh yeah, it was Red and Chupacabra. They did
Yeah,
they
they said-
investigated for months. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said it was him. It was Lou and his group, right?
Exactly.
That's what they showed as
Yeah.
the evidence.
So he is against him. That's why he was not part of Arrow, because he was trying to stop him. He was
Oh,
the
yeah,
one
and-
who- yeah.
And I did
There is
ask
your answer.
Red. Yeah. And I asked Red. I'm like, didn't Grusch threaten Elizondo with a subpoena or something like that? He wanted to get stuff out of him.
Yeah.
What did Red say? He said it wasn't corroborated or something. Anyway, let's see. Hopefully, is the final clip here about Grusch and how he's dealing with all this.
Conversation, because I do have a dialogue with him about these things, and I would like to follow up on that as well. I have to ask, it's just in my DNA, David, as this is all unfolding, how are you doing?
Day by day, there's certainly days that, I regret even getting involved in the topic. I had an average at interest at best, prior to getting involved. And I've made a lot of sacrifices. My family's made a lot of sacrifices. Friends were harmed and coworkers. So I think, I live with that burden and a lot of mental, emotional, and psychological scars. And I hope it was worth it. And I really hope that President Trump delivers on his promise. I think this is going to be the singular thing that's going to define his legacy, believe it or not. I think it's not going to be the war in Iran, unfortunately. I'm not going to adjudicate, that. I think that's a contentious thing. But I think Mr. Miller and the president's team needs to realize this is going to be the defining moment of his legacy. Because even if Trump doesn't disclose, this is coming out, the genie's out of the bottle now. And it's going to look back on what did the president know and why didn't he, get the information out? And that goes to W. Bush. That goes to, other presidents in the past that were well access to this information. And so I'm proud to be a part of that defining moment in American history where this is finally coming out. But I've certainly bared a lot of scars, and I have to live with a lot of, extra trauma. But I'm a warrior. I'm part of America's warrior class. I was an Air Force officer, and I do my best to cope with it.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. I mean, especially I hate when they say, not I hate, but it hurts to hear when they say, I wish I never got involved with this, right? A lot of them say that.
Yeah.
And if these people are grifters, their lives wouldn't be ruined. He wouldn't have to be working for Burlison. I mean, I'm glad he is. But I'm saying he wouldn't have to go to that level to get that job, because they got rid of all his pensions. He's actually in a lawsuit to try to get them back. So, like you said,
if he stayed loyal to them, he would be rich man working for a government where he have to do nothing, just sit around.
Yeah, exactly.
But he decided to do the right thing.
Yeah, he decided to do the right thing, and that's unfortunately for a lot of these people that do the right thing, society does not reward them for it. So we need to reward these people, support them, especially someone like Grusch. He's such a high-level intelligence community member that briefed presidents before. He's part of Space Force, UAPTF. I mean, we owe him, I owe him a great debt to what he's brought forward I know people are like, "Oh, where's the evidence? It's just stories, man." But he gave it to the ICIG, everything, right?
Yeah.
He gave them everything, and we see the reprisals against him. So,
by the way, these stories are evidence. Those people
Yeah.
don't even understand the meaning of the word evidence. Those stories are the evidence.
I agree with you. We use that in court. We use stories in court.
Yeah.
So they are evidence, actually. But many people want to see the craft and the aliens. That's probably saying much. Even in the past, people in Sumeria, the normal folks did not meet the Anunnaki. It was the priest class that met the Anunnaki. So if you're just a normal person saying, "I want to see the evidence," good luck. In thousands of years, normal people have not seen the evidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Or they
All right,
have. They are those who have it. They are hiding it for some reason.
I mean, yes, those who have are always top of the priest class, and so it's secret. They're part of some cult or something like that, and it's always been like that way with humanity. Who's a civilization that people directly? I guess I would say, no, it's hard to say really. I mean, Muslims don't have a priest class. They have imams, but they don't have a priest class. Like people directly.
Nobody cared about those priests, like the imams, until like last century. In
Yeah,
Islam, they are
exactly.
nobody, right? The people they are teachers. They consider them the teacher, but
Right,
they
teachers.
never had those power. And then suddenly, after British take over, they are now the imams are now the priest class.
Yeah,
This is so weird. So this was deliberately added.
Deliberate.
Now people are following these dumbasses who are paid by Saudis and UAE. Oh my God! But the good thing is the people are waking up.
They are. I think in general, people are waking up. So this is Burlison. He's talking about the White House. We talked about this last week, Topher and I. The White House had its own crash retrieval project with basically Jake Barber, right, and his group, and he's Eric Burlison confirming that.
You had made a claim regarding this idea, this scenario in which the U.S. in the past may have tried to set up a perfect scenario to capture a UAP.
I was briefed on an event a little less than a year ago that happened in a Western military facility that kind of changed a lot for me. I approached this topic as a complete skeptic, but when I was briefed about this particular event, what they described is that they had created a scenario when looking back at all of the sightings and the events that had happened throughout the United States, they just thought, what are the common things that seem to draw these things in? And so they tried to imitate a lot of that at once. They went to a location where they had already had activity. They sent in people from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. They sent in the CIA, the FBI, officials from the Department of War, and they described encountering these glowing orbs. Basically, they can hover statically. They can go from sitting static in the air to instantaneous acceleration. And we don't know what these things are. At least they tell me they don't know what they are. I think
So, Sid, we're talking about an automated system, right? Because if they can bait and shoot down something with no repercussions, really, we're talking about a system that's automated. So you for sure they're baiting it with nukes or something, like moving nukes into the area, right? Something like that.
Yeah. No, but before we continue, these orbs, the way they are describing, these are the things I see in the sky. But they are
they're red. They're red.
I have seen red as well, but mostly the white ones. But they are so up in the sky. I think they are like the light is weird, because even sometimes you're seeing red, it doesn't mean it's red.
Right. It's switching between because it's emitting so much light, right?
And also it looks like they are the source of light, not reflecting it,
which is just so bizarre. Obviously, there's plasmoids and plasma beings, and Nick would love to talk about this. Right. With God, what's that book? I just read it twice too because of Nick. A new paradise or new heaven or something like that. Anyway, great book. He talks about these plasma beings that are in L5 between the earth and space, and that these plasma fields, I guess, or gaseous plasma are 10 times bigger than Earth. And he's saying that all of like the memories and histories all stored there like the cloud, and that it interacts with us and they come down and interact with us, which is very fascinating really to think about. But again, it just adds more theory more theories to what's really going on.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Sid, I like the fact that there's so many theories, because if it really is a vast universe teeming with life, it has to be that. It has to be everything you can ever think of, anything you can imagine is true.
It's possible. Also, on this planet, there is one location. It's called Skinwalker Ranch. Where
Yes.
all
Are
those
we going?
Theories, but this is where all those stories converge, because you have UAPs and demons, and all those things are happening in one location with radiation. Recently the Travis Taylor's podcast with Y-Files was so amazing. He described all those things.
Yeah, maybe we should. You want to go into that Skinwalker Ranch? So look, I was looking for Airbnb Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh,
and look at that.
We need to book it, and sometimes we need to plan and go.
In rural Tridell, relax with your family. Blah blah blah. Where's the map? I want to see the map. But apparently, this is near the basin, they call it.
Yeah, whenever, just take like a holidays from your work, and I will come. But I have because my thing is I'm a videographer and photographer, right? So we can do the actual quick documentary, half an hour.
Yeah, if you have the cameras and stuff, you have everything, dude. We should definitely do it then, because then for me, I can drive. I don't care. Was it 12 hours or something, or 18 hours? I think. No, 12 hours. I can drive. That's easy. Topher would have to fly in. Nick would have to fly in. You would have to fly in.
I'm fine. I'm not that far away, and the ticket is not that expensive from Canada anyway. So
true.
It's
true.
$500.
Yes. So
there.
you and I are good on that front.
Yeah. But this is something we should do, or maybe we'll try to reach out to them if they give us the access to the Skinwalker Ranch.
I mean, if we could reach out to them and maybe ask them for an interview or something like that.
Or even if they don't give us interview, just let us be in the property and record, spend one night there and record.
Yeah.
If we can record something.
Okay, here I stopped it here because he's talking about Tesla, I think, which is really fascinating. He did a whole show on it. I'm gonna watch it. I think it's called the Tesla Files, but he really investigated it. And before this, he went to the New Yorker hotel to see where Tesla was living, and he found 3 generators there. And then on the roof, they found pipes going down to the generators. And apparently Tesla had a secret laboratory at the New Yorker at the top. And he said that it looked like the Waldorf Tower. So that's to catch you up. And this clip starts where he then goes to Serbia, where Tesla is from.
Vacations to our Navy.
We know he was working on all that stuff.
Yeah. And could it have been something else? He talked about we did find that there was a number of that we found a memo from, I forget who it was. It was one of the generals at the time, of having all of the boxes from the Office of Foreign Properties,
alien properties.
Yep. That's it, alien properties. It's been a while. Yeah, it was 2016, I think, when I did this. So the Office of Alien Properties that pertain to Tesla's death ray to be sent to Wright Pat Field.
That's right,
Wright Field at the time. But we found that memo. It says that
where Blue Book was spun up at that time in Wright Pat, wasn't it?
Well, that would have been a little before Blue Book, because that was in the 40s, and Blue Book would have been in the late 50s.
Right.
I mean, they would have had the legacy of it, certainly.
Something was there.
Yeah. Well, and so all of this stuff we see now from investigating, that we don't know what our history is. We don't know what's happened. And we don't have anyone who's documented it. And it's been compartmentalized in a way that nobody will ever know. So
alien property is supposed to have a chain of custody with all that stuff.
Yeah. Well,
alien just means foreigner.
Yeah. The reason why was because his next of kin was a Serbian.
And his nephew.
Right? Yeah. And so
his nephew said, "Where's the rest of the stuff?"
Yeah. So we went to Serbia.
You did?
Yes. to the Tesla Institute, whatever it's called.
It's still there.
And we had permission from the State Department, where had worked it for us to get to see Tesla's notes that they have in the vault there. And because I was going to try and rebuild one of his experiments of the death ray, honestly, and transmission of power. and they bring out this book. They got the white gloves on, and they open up the vault, and they're wearing the bunny suit, and then they come out and they set it down. And they said, so this is the first page, and they turned over one page, and they said, so you can see these are Tesla's documents. And I could see through the paper that the drawing on the next page was the drawing I really needed to see. And I said, well, can you turn the page? And the curator, basically like the Hawass of Serbia, where, you know,
boy.
he comes in, no.
And
I said, why not? And he said, you don't have a research visa. You're here on a I don't know, a work visa or something. I forget what our visas were. And our producer came around. What? We have permission. We're supposed the State Department worked all this out. What are you talking about? Says, you don't have research visa. You can't. And they literally ran us out of the museum at that point when he saw that I was wanting to look at that next document.
Did you call the embassy and said, I need a research visa?
We did everything like that, and they would never, the Serbian museum there would never let us come back in to see the Tesla files.
No, they wouldn't.
How about that?
That's crazy. You know, I've read books. I have a couple books actually that basically say that all this stuff we see around us is all Tesla stuff. That he really cracked anti-gravity a long time ago. Remote control, energy transfer, wireless energy transfer, not just but attracting energy as well, and then transmitting it. All that stuff has already been done, you know, 20s, 30s, 40s, and then when he died, the U.S. government grabbed everything and has been using his science and his technology since then.
And you know who was the guy who took over all his stuff? Trump's
Uncle
Trump.
John Trump. Yeah, and there's Trump again involved in this. Yeah. And so he must know, because he brings him up, this clips that he brings up his Uncle John from MIT, right? The genius uncle I had. So, you know, he told him stories, and Dark Journalist also links Donald Trump to Nixon. You know, and Nixon, he was the last president that resided over basically the legacy program, or MG-12, because apparently after him, he corporatized it and gave it to the corporations.
Yeah. And all these coincidences makes me think nothing is like, we don't even have a free will. It's all planned. Trump was planned to do this. Like they planned it for him to be the president. There is like a big conspiracy going on.
Yes, yeah. I deal with that internally, you know, the whole free will thing. And you know, it does spiritually, it makes you just submit or not give up. I mean, we still want to do our own things, but when it lines up with, I guess, the universe, it works out. If it doesn't, good luck. You know, nothing to do.
For free will, I think on individual level, I think we do have it, but like on grander scheme of this world, everything is planned.
Especially with politics.
Especially, and politics is literally everything. They control everything.
Yeah. This is a great interview. He also talks about he modeled an alien invasion for the government.
Yes, that was amazing.
Yeah, and they commissioned him to write a textbook about an
alien.
And
he did.
Yes, he did. So we can buy that actually. He's a doctor. Yeah, I'm sure he's a doctor. Modeling an alien invasion.
Xboxes and 2 TVs and a car in the driveway, and they have $100 shoes. It's unlikely that they'll ever be able to understand these people that we're fighting, because they have a completely different world they live in. The only way Americans would ever be on the low side of asymmetric war was if we were invaded by aliens. I was doing a typical Southern thing, explaining by exaggeration. Well, the general just kind of rolled his eyes and moved on. So after the meeting, or at a break in the meeting, we're in the break room, and I'm getting a soft drink or whatever, and the 3-letter boss comes up to me, 3-letter organization boss comes up to me and says, "What would we do if we were invaded by aliens?"
That's my next question.
And I said, "We'd probably die."
Oh no!
and he said, "Well, do we have a plan?" And I said, "Well, I think you would know more about that than I." And he said, "Well, why don't you two look?" And he talked to me and my mentor and said, "Why don't you two look and see what you can come up with?" And so we spent the next year studying warfare models, intelligence models, technologies, and it led us to, we kind of threw together this book on all the things that we'd studied. And of course we briefed it at other levels, but we asked ourselves, can we publish this as a book? Sure, we don't care. You know, so we did. And it's interesting, on the cover of the book, the first version of it, the chief scientist of the NRO actually put on there that it was fascinating. So anyway, so move back to where we were with the Skinwalker story. So I'm in this room in the Pentagon, and this guy's got a copy of my book, and it's got some Post-it notes in it. And after a bit, he asked everybody else to leave but me, and he says, I'm Jay Stratton. I'm the director of the government's present UFO program. And I was at Skinwalker Ranch in 2009 or whatever year it was. I think it was 2009. And he said, I'm aware of what's going on out there, and I'd like for you to come work for us on the UAP task force. It wasn't called that. It's called, at the time, it's called the interagency task force. And it was, that's just how we referred to it. It was no official title for it, but it was official and funded. It just didn't have an official title, I think, for a purpose, right?
Right.
If they give it a title, then they have to worry about explaining it to somebody.
Right. ATIP was not an official title,
No,
right?
ATIP was never an official title. So what it was, OSAP was actually a contract.
Right. That's Bigelow's program.
Yep. And what it was, they actually released a call for proposals, and Bigelow Aerospace was the only company that responded to the proposal. So, I mean, they awarded a contract.
Sure.
And then when, so the interesting thing about that, and the original award was for $20-something million, but some people in the Pentagon found out about what was going on, didn't like it, and pulled about half the money. And I think Bigelow, rightfully so, got pissed. He didn't get all the money that he was supposed to get. And so what you got from the end results of that was just a final report written by Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff or whatever, and none of the details of the findings. Everybody thinks Bigelow still has something hidden away somewhere here in Vegas at his facility. Whether that's the case or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, what the government got was what they got.
Right.
And
I don't think he's hiding anything.
I don't think Bigelow's hiding anything at all. In fact, when we've talked to him, he doesn't have any desire to go back to the property. He think people don't think about what was going on in Independence Day. They say, well, that ship crashed here in the 50s or whatever, and we hadn't reverse engineered much on it. Well, did it crash here in the 50s for the aliens? If that mothership was approaching it and slowing down from near the speed of light, and they sent the scout ship out there, it could have been 5 minutes on board the ship. Right. And they could have been, they could have known that and been done something to prepare us in a way that would embed weaknesses into our systems. Right. So we're not thinking about any strategic plans like that. And so I created from what's called Lanchester's laws. It's where every video game engine, every combat model, everything is based on, and they were created in 1917. And Enrico Fermi should have known better when he did his stupid Fermi's paradox thing.
This is actually a great part. He talks about Fermi, and it was an idiotic formula, right? I mean, we all love Fermi, Nobel Prize winner. But yeah, when it comes to Fermi's paradox, and I remember reading that he was actually read in. Fermi was read in to this subject, and then he releases his stupid paradox.
Yeah. Also, in the same podcast, he did an amazing thing where he questioned Carl Sagan's statement that was a great thing, that great claims need great evidence or something like that. My brain
he said he did a very bad service to ufology.
It was really now I realize, this is we never thought of that because we love Carl Sagan and we trust him and we took that quote as a word of God. No, that's it was amazing. I really like this guy.
Yeah, and Carl Sagan was all into UFOs, right? Until he got read in, and then all of a sudden he became a
skeptic.
It's weird. It must be, I swear, to convince these people, especially these high-level people.
Yeah.
It must be like some secret war going on. And they're like, they're going to come and invade us. We have to prepare. So we have to keep it secret and do all this reverse engineering because, an invasion is imminent, whatever. I don't know, whatever time they give them. And that we have to be ready for them kind of thing. It has to be that, right? Something something
terrible. Something scary.
Yes. Yeah, something scary, something that makes them nationalist as well. That, this is for the country, this is for humanity, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And maybe they're probably lying to them. From my perspective, I think they're lying to them. I'll tell you why. These beings or whatever have not retaliated. If we are shooting them down and acting aggressively, and they were violent, wouldn't you think they'll just blow us up? I mean, right? So it just shows that they're advanced or more advanced than us, maybe benevolent. I'm not going to use those words, but advanced enough where they think we're like some, mouse, when the mouse just biting at you and, it's nothing, get out of here kind of thing, a pest, maybe it's that.
Or something is stopping them from fighting back. That's also a possibility.
You think like a law kind of thing, or we are a protected species by something else?
That's some law, some kind of law, or some kind of some kind of an invisible barrier. That is also a possibility.
Yeah, right. Or that they don't have weapons or something. I don't know.
Or
So, yeah,
maybe
so-
they are not allowed to bring their weapons down. When they come, they can only come as an explorer. Because there is not a single incident where they fired back.
I mean, the Russians say they have fired back, according to George Knapp. George Knapp, when he brought those documents, but that's from the Soviets.
Yeah, that maybe they are just misguiding Americans because they
Maybe.
are Russians. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll show you from this Chinese guy. I think he's trying to do the same thing.
Okay. Okay, maybe they did, but in general, I don't see them firing back.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, so here he's talking about Fermi's paradox.
Yeah,
we could talk about that, but it's just stupid. Anyway,
you think his paradox is stupid? Like, where are the aliens?
Well, yeah, that's the dumbest thing because he based it on exponential growth model.
Yeah,
and there was no known species period in history that's ever grown that way, and especially with no competition, et cetera. And the way predator prey species work was known very well, and it was created a set of laws called Lanchester's laws in 1917. And that's, like I said, Lanchester was given money by the War Department to study predator and prey models to create models for warfare, and it worked very well. Otherwise, Call of Duty wouldn't work the way it does. Right. Fortnite wouldn't work the way it does. All these things wouldn't work the way they do. And so anyway, if Fermi would have known that, he would have realized his question was using math that didn't fit the model. Right. He said, well, I'm going to apply this math that we know doesn't fit any known species and say, well, then all the species in the universe have already overrun us by now. Well, but that's not the same model. It's really bad science. It's really bad science. And for a Nobel Prize winning Manhattan Project physicist to have done that, I call that the famous scientist phenomenon.
Sure.
Just because he was famous, everybody believes it, right?
Yeah.
And I refer to it as Fermi's blunder. I don't refer to it as Fermi's paradox.
Right. There's no such thing as elephants. Why not? I've never seen one.
That's right. I've never seen one. And
you mentioned Sagan. I do want to find that one.
Yeah, but before we go, one thing also, the big flaw in his argument is that he's thinking that universe is limited. Universe itself is infinite, so you can never fill it. Like no matter, even they're growing exponentially because universe is infinite. You won't be able to see them because the universe is so big.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. It is so infinite and so multifaceted, and and it's a fractal. It's the same going inwards and it's the same going outwards.
And then that 92 billion miles is just like what we can see. It's not the size of the universe, because what do you think was happen after that? There's like ending? Nothing. No,
we just can't
universe
see
is gonna
that.
Universe is gonna go some. Maybe those aliens are at the edge of that, so they're exponentially growing on the other side, but we don't see them.
Is it Travis Taylor that talks about the black hole? Wait, it is. Yeah. Let's listen to this.
You did.
I think this is fascinating.
Yeah, I think this is his theory that we are living in the black hole.
I kind of agree with me, especially if you bring it back to the fall of man, right? What if we have been trapped in a universe, inside a black hole, an entire universe? Maybe that's why we don't see anything. We see visitors, right? Whoever trapped us here, that those people come in. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like that would make sense. If we are such a trouble, or whoever part of humanity is so problematic, you would need to isolate them in their own universe if they're that powerful. Like say a Dajjal figure, right? Or an Antichrist figure that's very powerful like that. You'd want to isolate it from the rest from your universe.
Yeah, true.
Especially if we can use nukes or whatever we do, right?
Oh my God,
we're dangerous.
And nukes are not even the most dangerous one. I don't know what kind of weapons they actually have or they're working on.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one theory that the Chandra Levy? The Chandra Levy comets that went to Jupiter, that those were neutron bombs that the DoD tested because the Viking satellite was there to capture it. Like all these coincidences, that shouldn't be there happened. So yeah, they say like those were neutron bombs sent to Jupiter.
Yeah. And right now we only have planet destroyer, but there is a possibility that eventually we will be able to build a galaxy destroyer or even a universe destroyer, whatever, right? So
crazy. These people are crazy.
Yeah. So that's why it's better to isolate us.
Yes, I agree. Yes. And so all right. So this is his theory about our universe being in a giant black hole.
Find it. It's a circle that shows sort of a logarithmic plot across time and space to the edge of our universe, and it's a big circle. It shows we're somewhere near the middle, and then you got the giant galaxies that when they were beginning to form and all this out at the edge of time when the Big Bang allegedly occurred, and there's nothing beyond that circle that you can see. And I looked at it and said, well, this is exactly the same world map as in Minecraft. There's an event horizon on our world map that we can't see beyond. And I said, the only thing that I know of like that has an event horizon that traps all the information on the inside of it is a black hole. And then I realized, well, Stephen Hawking actually wrote a paper with a guy named Bekenstein that black holes actually do emit a certain amount of radiation, but it's so tiny that the amount of radiation, it's such a long wavelength and so low energy, we can't build detectors to detect it. Right. So it'll be decades before anybody can prove or disprove Hawking's concept, his hypothesis. But it matches with the math and everything. So it's probably true. It's just we can't prove it for a long time till we get better at building instruments. But I realized, I said, well, if there's energy leaking out of this black hole, well, then that energy is a signature of what's inside it. And so you know how you can take your radio dial in your car back in the old days when you could see all the numbers there. That's the frequency spectrum of all the transmissions your radio can do, right? In time, it sends a signal, but across the frequencies, you can see all these spots on the dial. Well, I thought, now what if the signal, if we look at its spectrum, if it tells us all the information that's inside, coming from the inside of the black hole? And when I did certain types of math, it let me reproduce what we see as modern cosmology running backwards from the outside looking in. So in other words, we believe we have models of our universe, right? Going this way, expanding outward from the Big Bang. Well, in a black hole, if you look at it from the outside in, time's reversed and it would be falling inward. And I thought, well, now that's an interesting corollary. And so I used all the math from Hawking and everything, and I ran a bunch of models. It took me a lot. It's such long Python code that it took me forever. I had to vibe code a lot of it with ChatGPT because I'm not a supercomputer hacker, But you have to always go back and make sure the math is right because AI will give you fake stuff.
It will.
But anyway, so once I ran the models over and over and over and convinced myself that the code was right, it showed that any black hole between 5 and 10 solar masses should have similar cosmology as our universe, which suggests, now I'm not saying it proves it, but it suggests that we live in a black hole that's about somewhere between 5 and 10 solar masses. And my model stopped somewhere about 7.2 solar masses.
So Poplawski said that we would inherit the characteristics and spin of our parent black hole. But what I can't square is the Schwarzschild radius.
Well, so the Schwarzschild radius is only something you see from the outside.
Oh,
that's the event horizon.
Right.
So that's we can't go past it. We can't get out that.
Well, explain Schwarzschild for the folks listening.
Yeah. So
all right, they're getting into this now, but that is just fascinating, right? Yeah. It reminds me how when flat Earth first came, right, and then concave Earth came, right? Concave Earth basically says that we live inside, that the Earth's crust is that we live inside the universe, and that the Earth's crust is the universe or something like that. That was concave, and you can't disprove it mathematically because it's the same thing. So this reminds me of that instead of us expanding and that we're in the middle, that we're actually in the middle and it's expanding we're going inwards. Yeah,
we are going inward. Yeah,
which then it shows the whole Big Bang, right? They think the Big Bang is going outwards when it's the actual opposite.
Yeah.
Like we're trapped in this.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating theory. Also, it also solve like the problems of like the stars which are older than universe, that Methuselah, which is like 15 billion years old.
Yes.
And the universe is only 13.6 billion years old.
Yes. The James Webb Telescope pushed that back, I think, to 23 billion years.
I think 27. I think somewhere
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
like
that's just a theory because of this guy who said it is impossible, and that's why they increased it. But like even today, the acceptable one is 3.6 or 13.6 billion years old. And Methuselah still exists. And then there are other galaxies which form very fast, which is impossible.
Right. According to the Big Bang Theory, it's impossible for those galaxies to have been formed.
Exactly.
Right? So which means they were all there already. So that makes sense that we're in a black hole. Kind of thing.
Yeah. This is just a theory. We don't have an actual proof of that. So
right.
But it's a very strong theory.
But it's
to be honest, Big Bang itself a theory. Right?
Exactly. Big Bang is a theory, and they keep trying to put in new equations to make it work. So anyway, Travis Taylor is a cool dude, really cool. And I didn't know he wrote so many books. He's got a lot of science fiction books. he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
All right, so this is from the Disclosure Foundation. It is about religion and disclosure. So I thought it was a good clip. We discussed that a lot on the show as well, especially me and me and Sid, because it is intertwined.
We like those things.
Yeah, and I don't like to say that our ancestors were idiots. I want to say that they experienced things and saw things and tried to explain them in a certain way to retain the information. So I am thankful for that. It's just we're trying to also understand what's going on. All right.
If we do have undeniable evidence of visitation by non-human intelligences, the world will be shocked for sure. It will be a major rupture in our understanding of reality. A rupture, as I'm using it, is a deep break with past worldviews and a deeper break than a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift, Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, Darwin, Einstein, and others brought about paradigm shifts. A full revelation that we are actually not alone will be much, much bigger, and it will affect the whole world. Paradigm shifts in science take root gradually, and they begin taking root with scientists, and then eventually it comes out, but it might take a while. Full disclosure of the existence of non-human intelligences that have been visiting us, who might have craft. That will create a rupture globally, regardless of where you live on Earth. Well, except for maybe that island that can't be visited because the people who've been living there kill anyone who approaches their shores. Maybe they won't be affected. So, as far as religion is concerned, the impact will be unpredictable. Religion is unpredictable. Religion is all about disagreements. Social scientists began to argue in the early part of the 20th century that religion, especially symbols and rituals, were social glue, something that held secular culture together. But it's also true that religion can be social dynamite. Disagreements are the stuff of religion. So how can one predict what effect will this disclosure have? We don't know. I am reminded of a joke I heard a long time ago in reference to only one religion, but it applies to all religions. Someone is marooned on a deserted island for 30 years. At the end of the 30 years, the rescuers show up, and they're astonished to find 2 equally elaborate houses of worship on the island, while the castaway lives in a very crude hut. So they ask, what's going on? Why these 2 houses of worship? And he wheels around and points with utter disgust at one of them and says, you don't think I would set foot in that one, do you? So who knows what will happen? Well, most religions are all about belief in non-human intelligences.
That's true.
So religion could be argued, at least some believers, might actually lessen the shock of full disclosure. If we do,
wait a minute. What religion though? I want to know what religion he's talking about. He said one religion is okay with disclosure. Is that what he said?
No, let's play it.
Might actually lessen the shock.
Wait a minute.
A little bit.
So who knows what will happen? Well, most religions are all about belief in non-human intelligences. So religion could be argued, at least some believers,
Okay,
Might actually lessen the shock of
some believers. So they continue, as Dr. Iyer observed at June's disclosure forum, most religions are all about belief in non-human intelligences. Yep. Angels, demons, jinn, celestial beings, multiple worlds and realms of existence. The categories differ, but the underlying idea is ancient. Airy argues that undeniable confirmation of NHI would still constitute something extraordinary, a global rupture. Oh, here we go. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and other traditions already contain intellectual frameworks for realities extending beyond. True, exactly. Yeah. And throughout history, theologians have repeatedly. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be a big blow. I mean, to certain sects, it will be, right?
Very few. I think religion will adopt. Religion has been adopting a lot. Like even in the modern days, let's just say, let's take the example of Catholics. They adopted like LGBTQ, and they were against it a lot. So they're religion can adopt and survive.
I think Catholics will be fine. Orthodox will be fine.
Islam will be fine.
Most Muslims will be fine. There's a lot of Jews that are into this subject, but I think maybe Orthodox might
Jews
have a problem.
will be in trouble.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm saying if the whole, because it's a tribal religion, really.
Yeah,
but then they won't be. It's not universal.
But then they won't be the chosen one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If there is a smarter intelligence out there who's doing amazing thing, control a lot of planets or anything, then they are better. They are not going, so they will be in trouble. They have to find a way to jujitsu around. But yeah, most of the religion will be fine. Hinduism will be fine. Hindus have like 3
Hindus will be
billion
fine. Yep. Yeah. I mean, on that point, so this Chinese ufologist is making the rounds this week for some reason. He talks about that there's crash retrievals in China and all that stuff. But here in this clip, I want you to listen to this one where he talks about.
There are different categories of planets on Earth. And depending on our spiritual involvement, we may reincarnate on planet of a higher category, like Tiuba, a category 9 planet, a planet of paradise. And I want to talk about the different categories of planets. So Earth is actually a category 1 planet, according to the Theobans, the lowest category in the universe. But there's nothing to be ashamed of. We are just like elementary school students learning the basics. And we originally all came from different planets. The yellows, the blacks came first. From
the yellows.
About 1.35 million years ago. We did not evolve from apes or gorillas. Right? And the ancestors of the Polynesians came after. And the Caucasians came after the Polynesians. And these groups of people all came from category 1 planet.
Yeah.
But the Hebrews, who came 12,000 years ago, came from a different category of planet. This is why, when I was reading the Bible, I had a question. Why did they choose the Hebrews? Why the Hebrews were the chosen people? Why not the Chinese? Why not the Caucasians, the blacks? and you can see the Jewish people are very unique. They have a lot of well-known scientists and financiers and business people, and they excel in different fields. And I don't know how many of you know this, but Jewish people account for only about 0.2% of worldwide population. But 22% Nobel Prize winners are Jewish.
Yeah, because Jews are giving the Nobel Prize.
Jews.
Dude, it's so funny. He's got the talking points. When people were sharing this, I was like, "What is going? I need to listen to this guy more here." And then when I got to this, I'm like, "Oh, not again."
This is like literally the fake propaganda. Let's continue. Let's listen to his propaganda. Okay. Yeah.
They live 5 years longer on average than the Caucasian American population in the US. So it reminds me, in the Old Testament of the Bible, you hear stories like people who lived 800 years or 900 years because they came here accidentally.
They were not Jews.
Due to
they came here accidentally.
That's just a big lie, man. They were not Jews. Those
I
who
know.
live that long.
I know. He's talking about the Anunnaki, I think, right? Who
No,
lived that
he's
long.
talking about like Noah's and those guys.
Oh,
They
that
were
was
not.
that was pre-Hebrew.
Yeah, they were pre-Hebrew, so they were not Hebrews.
Well, of course he's Christian and probably an evangelical, and that's why he's got these ideas.
These are really dumb points. But like, come on, Mac, correct your facts. They are like obviously dumb facts. No, dumb propaganda, man. Seriously, I'm
so
surprised
annoying.
nobody is just hitting a shoe at him.
Well, me too. And no one's everyone's sharing other clips of him. Like he goes, it's a long presentation. He talks about, crash retrievals in China, live aliens in China. But once that clip hit, I'm like, oh my God, they always have to fucking just inject that shit into everything.
Yeah, I think he come out like we all are goyim because yellow, black, Caucasian. We are all
he calls himself a yellow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he said we are all from one category, and then the Hebrews are from a different category. And
we're all from planet ones, right? Which are the lowest in the universe, except the Hebrews, and they were put here by accident, so they're victims again. It's by accident, and they are burdened. It's a burden for them.
Oh,
to rule
by the way,
planet.
regarding Nobel Prize thing, they are just taking the last 50 years of history. There are 3,000 years of history where Jews were dumb. Like Hebrews were dumb. They were not doing anything other than banking and all this usury. They were not inventing anything. Everything else was coming from different part of the world. Chinese invented math. Muslim scientists were there. Italians invented printing press. Jews were not doing that. They were only doing this usury. And suddenly you're talking about they're smart because they have Nobel Prize. Okay, for 3,000 years they have done nothing. You're just picking and choosing one specific part of the time. Because they dumb down everyone, and then most of the this technology come out from the white people.
Yes, it's Germanic.
So and then they adopted that. I'm not like being racist here or anything. I'm just saying these are the facts. And in the future that will be a different group of people. Right now, Chinese already have surpassed everyone. They are the innovators.
It's always someone. It's always someone's turn.
So it's just you're just taking one specific group of time and you're just accrediting this new Nobel Prize that they are smart. No, they are not. That's just a specific time. If you go in 9th century, Muslim were the most advanced.
Yeah, and especially in Iran, right? The Persians as well, and Iraq and Lebanon.
That was the hub of the world because of their science. And
so
their science was not like dumb science. They were talking about multiverse and everything. They invented. They were the one who disproved flat Earth. Muslims.
Yeah, they were exactly.
They calculated the whole
astronomy as well, right? Astronomy.
They were like everything, but you can't just say Muslim are better because they were at that specific time and not right. Yeah, as time changes, someone else will take the mantle of the science. Right now, in the future, it's going to be Chinese. That doesn't mean Chinese are better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were backward, right? Maybe 50 years ago, I think. Even though they had nukes, their country was pretty backward.
Yeah.
And now it's a beacon, for capitalism, which is crazy.
Yeah. And then there was the very weird time in the world where Indians were the smartest people.
Well, no, Indians have always been, very innovative.
Not always. There was some specific time, but
I mean, now they're talking about a greater India, even. Of expanding it. The Hindutva, those guys are.
Yeah, but they have been outsmarted by Pakistan by, the recent pact design where they included Saudi Arabia and Turkey. I think that's the biggest L for India.
What was that, 1 week or 3 days or something? That war?
The war was like 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days.
Started on 6th of May or something and ended on 10th.
but that's a good point, that it's always someone's turn. It's always some civilization or whoever that's at the top. It doesn't mean they're always going to be at the top. It doesn't mean they were chosen forever to be at the top. Just
so this Nobel Point Prize is dumb. Like, you're just taking a specific period of time. It's always
right.
And at this points come a lot, so that's why I decided let's focus on that. And it's not against Jews. I think Jews and non-Jews, they are all equal to me. It depends on your action. If you are doing good things, you will be good. you
Yeah,
you will
yeah.
get my appreciation.
All I care about is benevolence, right? If you want to rule over humanity, whoever you are, I don't care what group you are, what
Exactly.
religion. If you're benevolent, you
Yeah.
you deserve it. You know, if you
Yeah.
are a tyrant and you do not deserve it, and
Yeah.
you should be
Yeah,
overthrown.
you will
That's
have
just
my opposition.
yeah, yeah. I really don't care who you are. If you enrich the people and make them feel free, man, you can have trillions of dollars. I don't care. You know, but if you're stealing and being a tyrant and doing all that shit, and then you don't deserve it, and you know, there needs to be a revolution. It's very simple. Just be
It's so
good.
simple.
Don't be an asshole. I forgot where I heard that. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. True.
So here's Robert Bigelow has his own podcast now, which is really cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to counteract like rumors out there, but he's met with Trump. He said he met with Trump for an hour and a half going through documents and basically trying to catch him up so people around him don't put disinformation into his ear. But Bigelow famously moved on from UAP, and he's now into consciousness, very seriously researching consciousness. And it's a small clip, but really important what he says about consciousness.
Consciousness ultimately is responsible for everything in the universe that you can think of. Everything. First of all, we have proof that you survived your container, which is a huge friggin' step for people to digest that.
Yeah, so he's deep into consciousness research, and when it
Yeah.
comes to UAP, we see that consciousness is all about it, right? Teleportation, using these craft to go from one end of I don't know, the galaxy to the other.
True.
So, and we've also discussed on the show and together how consciousness is just everything, right? That's what makes sense for a creator and a God consciousness, and that's what all the religions talk about. Omnipresent, omniscience, all that, all those characters. And what I like about Islam when it talks about that even that is just, they say, an attribute. So that's not even God, right?
Yeah.
It's just that itself, that thought that you had is just a reflection and a facet, a small facet of what God is. So I'm attracted to that way of thinking. You know, that way of thinking makes sense to me instead of humanizing God.
Yeah.
Did you see Milsham on Jesse Michaels?
That's in my watch list.
Mishlove, sorry.
Yeah,
This is such a great interview. So Mishlove has been doing these type of interviews since the 60s, right? He's a doctor. I think he's the only one who has a doctorate in the paranormal, you know. And he's interviewed everyone. He's worked with Hal Puthoff, Russell Targ, you know, he's been around the block. So in the 80s, was it 80s or 90s? There was this guy who apparently had such powerful telekinesis powers that he would bring UFOs, he would control lightning, you know, crazy stuff. He was allegedly able to do that. So Mishlove they tasked him to study this guy, and here he's telling the stories. What's his name again? Ted Owens? I think it's Ted Owens. Let me see.
Ted Owens remind me of Candace Owens.
Yeah, Candace.
Anyway,
Well,
let's continue. I think in the end we will watch that clip. One clip
She-
of Candace.
yeah, yeah.
Owens.
She's just as powerful.
Yeah. Amazing woman. Are you playing something? Are you mute?
Oh, wait.
Who started the CIA's psychic spy program, isn't that right?
Well, almost
Okay.
correct. He reached out to them. They had become relatively well known because of their work with Uri Geller, the Israeli psychic who was world famous. And they had published in some scientific journals about their work with Geller. So Owens reached out to them and, you know, said, why are you wasting time with him? I'm the world's greatest psychic. And but they wanted nothing to do with him, actually, because they were getting funding from the CIA, and they were already, in their minds, too public with Uri Geller. They didn't want another flamboyant psychic to be associated with them. So in February 1976, they had invited me to SRI to experience remote viewing, which I did, and had a very successful trial at the time. But they were all abuzz about Ted Owens because they'd been ignoring him. And finally, he had, shortly before my visit, sent them a message saying, I'm going to prove to you guys that I'm real. California was experiencing a bad drought at the time. And he said, I'm going to show you what I can do. I'm going to end this drought. And it's going to happen within a couple of days. The newspapers where you are will publish an article saying the drought is over. At the time, the articles were saying no end in sight to the drought. And furthermore, you'll know that I did it because there will be every kind of strange weather, snow and hail and sleet and UFO sightings, which is one of my trademarks. And all of that happened within a few days. And so they said, somebody's got to look into this, but we can't. So they said, would you please take our files, get them out of our office and follow up, which I did. I worked with Owens for 11 years from 1976 to 1987 when he died.
Fascinating. Did you witness firsthand any of this stuff? The ability to summon lightning on command, control hurricanes, control the weather?
Well, these things happened while I was studying him, but I didn't witness them in the sense that I wasn't present as they occurred. They were reported in newspapers, many things.
And he would sort of call his shot, and then the thing would happen. Is that correct?
He would send out letters to me and to other scientists. He had a handful who were at least keeping files on him. And of course, I had all the files from Puthoff and Targ. And along the way, other researchers sent their files to me. So I've collected an archive and I've kept it for decades.
What are some of the most striking specific examples of predictions that he made?
Well, I'll tell you the single most striking one. I had been ignoring him for a while because, frankly, he was a difficult person. He wanted desperately for scientists and the government to pay attention to him, and he was being ignored. And as a result of that, he said, I'm declaring war against the United States government. And I would get newspaper clippings of poltergeist attacks on Navy vessels, strange things like that. And then there was one.
And he would say that he was attributing that to himself.
Oh, yes.
He would say, I'm haunting this Navy vessel.
Or using psychokinesis.
Whoa.
Is what he claimed. Or it varied. At different times he said, no, I'm not using psychokinesis. I send telepathic messages to my friends, the space intelligences, mantid-like beings in an invisible giant UFO hovering over the Earth, and they do it.
And the mantid beings, they were in touch with light beings that were above them, right? It was like the mantids were somehow intermediaries.
He would say that they are really energy beings, but when they take a form, it's sort of like a large insect.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is so fascinating because it makes me think.
So crazy, this Ted Owens. Like he said, he controlled the weather, right? He can make hurricanes, lightning, UFOs show up, and he even downed, I think, right, some aircraft I think he downed or something like that. I mean, pretty scary that a human could do that.
I have one word for this guy, wizard. That's how wizard used to do things, and I think he's like explaining it more, but he's doing exactly what wizard and warlocks used to do. So
he's using magic.
Well,
right?
we call it magic, but there could be other science behind it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that he's saying that he's communicating with these aliens and that they listen to him. Like, why would they listen to him?
Yeah.
Right? It's
there is some sort of like we call like the magic and wizardry. One interesting thing happened last week to me. So in the morning, early morning, I used to go. I always go out to walk in the park. So we have like big park, and then there are big trees. So I was walking. And then I saw a shadow behind the tree. And then I just didn't care. I moved around. And then this time I paid attention. So there was like a witch doing
What?
her black magic. Because
What are
she
you
was like
talking
her.
about?
Yeah, because we have a lot of witches here. So first time I
Okay.
actually saw a witch. So she had like, she was wearing all black. And then she had all her hairs open, black, dark hair. And then she had a black makeup on. And then
Whoa.
she was just sitting down. And then there were like a lot of like evil looking papers in front of her and one book in the middle. And she was like doing her thing. I was like,
Dude.
fucking get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want anything
You
to
know
do with
when
that.
did happen? That the same time when there was like this the solar eclipse was happening. One day before.
Oh,
that.
the Spanish one. So
Yeah.
this just happened. Holy shit.
Yeah,
dude.
it happened before, one day before that. And I was like, wow, that's insane. And I just ran away.
Was she saying anything or chanting anything, or is just
No, she was moving and reading something, but it wasn't loud.
You'll like this then. This is so she was just, I've never heard of her before, but she was just on Danny Jones and it was a great interview. She is a doctor, but she has also investigated the Anunnaki, and she went to the primary sources, right?
I love Anunnaki subject. Like I've
Yeah,
read
but
in
she
details
says
about that. Yeah.
she says that it's advanced humans that have enslaved another tribe. Something like that. She says.
Let's see what she says.
But here, so she's in this documentary. I don't know if it's completely her, but this documentary is it's called Epstein, Sitchin, and the Anunnaki.
Huh. Wow. Let's see.
She's saying Sitchin is a Israeli agent.
He was Israeli agent.
Yeah, I had no idea, dude. Imagine.
The paperwork simply said, artwork from Saudi Arabia. Inside was 3 pieces of the kiswa, the cloth that covers the Kaaba in Mecca. The invoice says $10,980. The seller's description of the black piece, people touch it and pray with their hands on it. Millions every year. The shipping records show that the crate didn't stay in Florida. It continued onward to St. Thomas, billed to the company that owned Little St. James. The buyer? Jeffrey Epstein. New Mexico, 2001. A staff memo managed by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Petroglyph rocks moved to the main house. Sacred carvings, centuries old, placed next to his chess set. In 2003, he told Vanity Fair that he owned the largest Persian rug in a private home. So big, he said, it must have come from a mosque. In 2008, while in a Florida jail on a prostitution charge, he hired architects to design a hammam, a Turkish bathhouse surrounded by Islamic gardens. He scrapped that plan and instead constructed a temple with a golden dome and blue and white stripes and called it his mosque. On January 30th, 2026, the Justice Department released 3.5 million pages of Epstein's files. Buried in them were 2 emails nobody has reported. May 5th, 2010. Epstein's scheduler writes to him, meeting with Zachariah Sitchin in New York next week. The intermediary reminds them, Sitchin is in his 90s. Zachariah Sitchin, the author who popularized the ancient astronaut hypothesis. He sold millions of books worldwide, and his theories claim that human origins and ancient civilizations were heavily influenced by an extraterrestrial race called the Anunnaki. 6 days later, a follow-up. Just a reminder, you wanted to set up an appointment with Zachariah Sitchin. Everything was arranged. It was waiting on one word from Epstein. 5 months later, Sitchin passed away. He was 90 years old.
Yeah, this is a good documentary. So
Yeah.
her name is here, Dr. Heather Lynn.
Yeah.
She's good. She's really good. and she goes to the primary sources, and I do like her perspective on the Anunnaki. She said that
I like Anunnaki, but I want to say Zachariah Sitchin, I don't trust him. He was definitely an Mossad agent. And you can just see Zachariah Sitchin name.
Let's listen. You're right. Here.
To Azerbaijan in 1920. He grew up in Mandatory Palestine and died in New York in 2010. But if you look at his actual resume, the one published during his lifetime in Contemporary Authors, you get a very different picture. Sitchin never hid his background. It's just that almost nobody bothered to look into it. During World War II, he served in the British Army in Jerusalem. By the late 40s, he was working as an assistant town clerk in Tel Aviv while the State of Israel was being formed, and then served in the Israeli army during the 1948 War of Independence. Sitchin was actively involved in modern Middle Eastern history and politics. By 1952, he moved to New York, where his career really took off, not in archaeology, but in international commerce and diplomacy. For 11 years, he ran the American Israel Chamber of Commerce and Industry. In 1964, he served as president of the American Israel Pavilion at the New York World's Fair. While in that role, he realized America's formal recognition of Israel had never actually been physically signed. So he personally tracked down Harry Truman, got him to sign the document in 1965, and created the only signed copy of Israel's recognition in existence.
No fucking way.
Damn. I didn't even know these things, and I was sure about that. But that's like not even evidence at this point. This is a proof. What he was.
Yes. So now we have to, go back and see, because there's lots of people who said that Sitchin was wrong. I think is Sitchin was wrong.com or something. He's another.
Sitchin is wrong.com. Yeah, famous website.
Yeah.
I don't think it's still active, but at that one point it was.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely, I recommend. I'm going to finish this one.
This is amazing. I'm going.
It's good research, and she's basically
not
saying
very long too. It's just 28 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But Heather Lynn, she's basically the star of this and her research, and I really like what she says, because she says like all the stories in the Bible were in the Sumerian tablets. They were different, right?
Yeah.
But still they were there.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Oh, we have. I don't know if you saw these guys. They created a warp drive.
Oh, that's important. Let's play.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to get my head around it. They're saying it uses static electricity, right? And here he's trying to explain it to us how it works, how their technology works. So it's got no propulsion at all, but they use.
Yeah, I actually saw that clip, but I want to see it again, but I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, so they use physics to make these things move.
Vacation last couple of weeks to kind of show that we could actually verify that with our experiments, which is really outstanding. Very excited, giddy about it. So you're the first to hear about this, but it's super cool. But that's what it is. So basically what happens is every particle interacts with another particle in the universe in quantum electrodynamics through an exchange of a virtual photon. Just consider it like I was telling him on the way over here, like a string.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to explain it to a third grader, every particle is attached to another particle with a string.
Mm-hmm.
It can pull in tension or it can release in compression. Either way, whether it's attractive or repulsive.
Right.
We can't see these, but we know they exist in nature, and they come out and they fall out in the math, and it's very well known to science. And they have a lot of effects on their own. The strings do. These imaginary strings, these lines of force, we call them. We can't isolate them as real particles. We can't hold them in our hand and look at them under a microscope, but they're there mathematically.
Right.
They're attached to the charge, so we can't decouple them from the charge. You cannot have one or the other. You have the charge with the field, or you have the field with the charge. You can't decouple them.
Okay.
So that's basically why you can't see this virtual photon. Mathematically, it's a photon, which is a light particle. A light particle is a real particle you can hold and see and isolate.
Right.
But there are 3 virtual photons in math. and one real one. One of the three virtual photons could be responsible for our force. So what happens in the higher order terms is these other virtual photons exist, and they give the momentum exchange with the particles without the recoil. That's what the math says. That's what falls out. So usually in second order, what happens is one particle is coming along, it releases this photon, so it recoils, and the second photon catches it, and it recoils. So like two ice skaters exchanging a bowling ball on an ice skating rink.
Right.
The overall system from 1,000-foot view means momentum is conserved. Basically, what I started with is what I end with, because I've exchanged the bowling ball, I recoil, you caught the bowling ball, you recoil. So there's no net translation of those two charges in space. That's basically Coulomb's law. So that's why plus particles and minus particles attract, or they repel, but the whole system doesn't move as a whole. In the third order, someone gives a second bowling ball. They throw that first one to the other person, then they throw the second one somewhere else, and they don't catch the second one. So if they don't catch it and you're tethered together, you're going to move as a whole. Or if the second person has a second bowling ball, and they throw it, they're going to go somewhere else and take you with them. So that's the simple third grade analogy of momentum conservation from quantum electrodynamics, third order, time independent perturbation theory.
Whoa.
Scientist? I don't know if that made sense.
These guys are cool. So yeah, he's the scientist, right? He makes it all work mathematically. And then this guy builds it. He's been at NASA for like 50 years or something, and he engineers these things.
Wow.
So they've come together, started a company called Exodus. He's really funny. He talks a lot. But these devices he said they teach us how to do it. It costs about $1.50 to create one. It's on their website.
$1.50?
Yeah, but basically, but it doesn't really move anything, right? Because it's so small. He says that you have to scale and you have to stack these things up in a large scale. And then, so that's why they say the spacecraft, basically get me up to space, he says, and then I can get you to Mars in 3.5 days. So it's called Exodus, the company.
Yeah, I heard just that part where he said he can take people to Mars in 3 days. And I was like, I didn't pay attention. I said I will look into that, but I didn't.
I mean, they basically say we can't get there with chemical rockets, right? And and that's why they create this. But
we can get there with chemical rocket, but it takes like 9 months,
right? Yes,
something
it'll
like
take
that.
forever. It'll take forever, and you have to refuel so much in space. And
how are we gonna do it?
So here are their experiments, video demos. No fuel, nothing, and they have them in these chambers. Vacuum chambers, so it's not ion fields or anything like that. Yeah, there it is moving.
There we go. So this section of it's been a minute.
Okay.
But we have lots of videos like this, and this one's real time. This one's not sped up.
This is the same.
So this is
a thruster with plastic bags on it.
It moves almost the same speed. This is a couple years later, so this is a bit newer than the last one.
And then we said, okay, well, we've done about all we can do in open air.
Yeah.
So now let's
What
go.
I like about this,
what's the next thing?
He walks right by it. So you would think all the wind from him walking right by would just stop this thing in its tracks and move it the other way. It didn't even phase it.
That's pretty insane.
Right? Did you see that?
And
Did you see that little subtlety?
We've tried different power supplies. And
So here it is. It's coming this way. So it's going counterclockwise. Drew walks right past it. Almost
Now,
rubs up
what
against
could
it.
like the world's most vicious skeptic say about this? Like what holes
that's
could they,
easy.
What holes could they poke in that?
Normally, any kind of thruster that you would do, electric only, the first thing they'd say, well, you're interacting with the Earth's magnetic field. So, and that can happen, but not for an electrostatic thruster, not for one that doesn't have current. So if you could do the current, calculate whatever current you need to, to charge the plates, and it's tiny, and the magnetic field that you get from that is infinitesimal. So you can't interact with the Earth's magnetic field with our magnetic field because it's so small. And plus it goes around a full circle, so it doesn't matter anyway.
And then we put a super magnet, one of these little.
So that's one of
these super little magnets.
Yeah.
Underneath it, and it just goes right over the top.
So that's
because
one of
there's
them.
no ferromagnetic.
There's a
material.
list of skeptical things. Wow. So the Earth's magnetic field's one of them. The ion wind, which we talked about.
We've addressed both of those.
Well, there's half a dozen of them.
There's many of them.
So you have an ion wind, which is basically you're charging the air, and the air is accelerating. So we put everything in styrofoam or plastic or RTV or epoxy, and then cover that in bags if we need to for the demonstration purposes. Our test articles, we don't always go to that rigor unless it's a demonstration. Our test articles, we're fine enough with the ITO Faraday shields, so we make sure all of that's intact. But so you want a Faraday shield that you want to encapsulate it, you want to keep it away from something. You do not want any coulomb attraction near anything, so you don't have any cabinets or tables or chairs feet away. So there's no force of attraction. And then you can see it go around the room. So if there is a cabinet that's attracted to, which is probability less than a fraction of a percent, it still moves past it and keeps going.
Right.
So probability is now 0. So there's so many facets to this that we've addressed every issue multiple times over in multiple configurations, as many as we can come up with. So the very last thing we should do, and we have to do, is just put it in space. That's it. That's the last.
Yeah, just put it in space. Just a couple $1 million. I feel for them because they need funding.
And that's not a lot of money anyway. Couple millions.
Couple million. They need a couple million. They go
Avi Law got 100 million just to go on his holiday on the ocean.
That's his right, man. That's his right. He deserves that money.
Promised to him 3,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry guys. I know it's called Exodus, but
but these guys are actually now I'm paying attention to them. They actually not just saying it, they have actually video proof
they're
of
doing
that.
it, and they've left NASA, and now they're full time, and they're doing the experiments in vacuum. These things are moving in a vacuum, and they're saying that the technology is already done. It's there. They've done all the research. Now it's just about building it, and they can go to wherever they said, because these things, once you turn them on, it just keeps going.
Okay, now from this point onwards, 2 things gonna happen. Either they will have a lot of money to not continue with this experiment, or they will have an unfortunate accident. In both cases, this won't go anywhere.
Yeah. Especially that it's just it's not simple, because I can't get my head around it. I have no idea how they're even creating this, but it works, and it is strange that no one has yet done something to them.
Not yet, but now since they got attention, they need to be careful. I think what they should do, they should publish all their research. That's the only way to protect themselves.
I think he said, what did he say? He said something. They're going to start doing peer review, but that usually it slows people down. But they're doing it in parallel, so they're still going to do their research, but they're not going to wait for the peer review to be peer reviewed, because they both said they act like gatekeepers and all this kind of stuff. But they are going down that route as well. Something to watch. They're called Exodus, private company. I mean, maybe they should go to something called there's a company called Net Capital, which private companies can go to and then raise money, like crowdsourcing, crowdfunding kind of way, but it's for corporations. They should try that. They have good reach.
2 billion is not that a lot of money. It is a lot, but it's not.
It is.
Much,
I mean, they're saying no one believes them. They're saying no one believes them. Everyone thinks they're crazy. They do have scientists that work with them and contribute, but they're saying the vast majority, when they show them, they're like, "You guys are crazy. This can't be real," kind of thing. So, but yeah, cool stuff. I definitely wish them the best of luck. One of the scientists was on Jesse Michaels, so you can check out that interview as well. And we're still going on with disclosure. I guess our job is, or everyone's job is, to be very wary of the different factions coming in and trying to take over the narrative. So we'll be watching that, right, Sid?
And we won't quit. We won't back down. As long as we are alive, we will speak the truth.
And be looking out for that Skinwalker Ranch trip that we're going to do. It might end up just being me and Sid, but that's fine.
That's fine either.
We'll see. I know everyone wants to go, and I think if we get into an Airbnb and we're to get, the reason why I say Airbnb is because if we if we really want to experience it, I don't think the hotels are in an area where we can experience it, But if we get an Airbnb that's near it, then I think
we probably can find a way to camp around the area.
Exactly, and I think if we're together, because there's a lot of negative things that can happen. So if we're together in the same house, we can at least mitigate something, latching on to one of us or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to plan that, and we have to plan it perfectly. But
absolutely
let's
yes,
just start. Let's fix the date. Let's do it within a year. We're gonna do that.
2027. Okay, August or summer 2027. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I think maybe 4 days might be good. I think it might be enough, or 4 or 5 days. Yeah.
We'll do the whole week. We can chill as well. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We don't have to spend the whole week in there. We can spend just 2-3 days and 2-3 days in other traveling.
Yeah, I mean Nevada. I mean they're all not close, but I mean there's they're drivable. You can go to Nevada and Arizona.
You can go to the famous UFO highway you have.
Yeah, yes, UFO highway.
Or we can go
extraterrestrial
to
highway.
Extraterrestrial highway, yeah. We can go to that one. Just enjoy.
Cool, man. So what are you up to? Anything you want to announce that you and Nick are doing or
No, nothing much. I'm just involved in all this politics, reading the news, doing stuff regarding that, because that is very important. Important to me, yeah.
Crypto just took a hit, right?
Oh, crypto's not done, by the way. It's just like we are in the bear market, and it's gonna keep going down for a while until a lot of people lose a lot of money, and then it will come back up.
During these times, don't give up. Exactly. And during these times, I always remember William Buffett. That he says, fear and greed. He's like, when everyone is fearing the market, get into the market. When everyone wants to be in the market, get out of the market.
Accumulate and spend like $20, $50, $100 a month on crypto. That's a good time. You have 1 year. I think until 2027 we are not going to see reversal. That's
yeah. I think you're right. I definitely think you're right.
Good time to buy. Keep buying, and you will have some good profit in the end.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about people that look at patterns and from our past experience as well, and seeing geopolitically where things are going, and if they're going to reset the system, they're going to reset it with crypto, and all these, maybe not all of them, but a lot of these coins are going to benefit from that new infrastructure and that new
just
system.
Stay away from meme coins.
Yeah, exactly. Stay away from meme coins. Go for the infrastructure coins, right? Bitcoin is one of them. XRP, XLM. I mean, you guys know.
I'm just gonna go invest in XRP because there are so many. I think XRP has the most future, in my opinion.
I think you're right.
For that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think because it is the banking industry that created it. First of all, I think they have 25% of SWIFT already, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's gonna go to 1,000. I'm just saying it's gonna go to $10, $15, $20. That will still be right now. It's at $1. So if it goes to $20, eventually you will have 20x.
Yeah.
gain.
And it's
That's
not
insane.
going anywhere. It's not going anywhere because the big players have invested in it. It's not going anywhere. So weather the storm, stay strong, and I think crypto will eventually get out of this.
Yeah, especially after the collapse of US dollar.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wherever
Unfortunately, it's the plan. It's gonna hurt, man. It's gonna hurt. I mean, we might not have a choice, but a clarity kind of scenario, crypto scenario.
Yeah. Also, for the people who don't have like risk tolerance and they have a lot of dollars, they should buy gold at this point to be safe.
Yeah.
Because gold is not gonna go up a lot, but it's not gonna go down. Crypto
Exactly.
So
It
crypto
hedges-
is a different thing. It's gonna go down a lot. It's gonna go up. So it depends
Just
on
don't
your
watch
risk
it.
tolerance, but do not keep US dollars. That's a bad way to lose your money.
Right. Do anything else. Invest in the S&P if you want. Anything but keeping your money in the bank. It's
That
just
is dumb.
losing money. Yeah. Cool stuff, man. Always a great time with you, Sid. And I love picking your brain and talking geopolitics and eschatology and all that stuff. So hopefully the audience had fun as well. Everybody, thank you for listening. If you haven't already, like this and subscribe. And there's a new thing on YouTube. I think it's called it's like did you see that new button? What is it called? Vibe? Not Vibe. Hype. If you guys can hype it, doesn't cost you anything, but it'll get the show out there more.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. And we love the comments. Keep them coming. Positive comments, bad comments, whatever they are. We do read them all and get back to most of them. So yeah, other than that, I hope Nick the best of luck today, and Topher, safe travels, and Sid, man, you need to come back more. You don't come back.
Same to
often
all.
enough.
Looking forward to our next podcast because I always
Awesome.
have fun with you guys.
Cool, man. Likewise. All right, everybody. Thanks for
See ya.
listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, and we'll see you all next week.